Welcome back to The Right View. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Laura Trump, and I am joined tonight by Dr. Gina Loudon, who is a senior anchor and the president of programming at Real America's Voice News, as well as Erin Elmore, a lawyer and the executive director of USA Strong. Ladies, welcome back. Great to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Great to be with you.
Yeah, well, we're so excited to be here. This is the first show we have had in 2 weeks because you may know we were taken off of Facebook. We were shut down all across many social media platforms, as was the president. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Before we get into talking about Joe Biden, tell me about what kind of legacy you think Donald Trump will leave.
Well, first of all, to add to your amazing long list of points.
Twitter only has so many characters.
Right.
I'm still not completely banned off of Twitter.
Yes, one of the places that you're still around, that's an applause moment. No new foreign wars.
Yeah.
And I love to focus on brokering peace in the Middle East.
It's such an amazing accomplishment no one ever gave him enough credit for.
You know, between the Muslims and the Jews, this isn't a 5-year, 10-year, 100-year problem. This persists decades and basically since the foundation of society and humanity.
Yeah.
And the United States, United Arab Emirates, and also Bahrain entered the Abraham Accord,
Yep.
which brings peace to these nations. Flights for the first time in the history of the world going back and forth. And Sudan was removed from the terror list, okay? Gave $335 million to victims of terror. Mm-hmm. That you didn't see in the mainstream media.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that everyone should be proud of. And it's hard for me when I see people of Jewish descent voting Democrat because they must have cognitive dissonance. They have to separate themselves, or else there's no way that they wouldn't vote for someone like Donald Trump and the Republican Party who's backing the Jewish people so much.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm so proud of is we've all been to so many Donald Trump rallies, the populist movement that he created. Yeah. People that never thought about voting.
That's right.
Never cared. People that just loved our country and said, wait a minute, this person that wants to drain the swamp actually cares about me, my voice. The people that fight our wars and pay our taxes, that decorated their houses with Trump flags, got decked out in Trump gear. It was better than the Super Bowl. It was better than a tailgate. It was better than any party because these people love America, and I love them, and I want to see all of us stick together.
Yeah, you know, I'm so glad you said that. I do think that a lot more Jewish people, you know, I'm of Jewish lineage also, and I think that a lot more Jewish people did come to see that. And certainly a lot of women saw.
I think it's because he woke people up. People who didn't care about politics, people who hadn't been engaged in any of this, maybe in their entire lives. He woke them up and he said, hey, you should pay attention to this because this is about the future of America. And people are awake and they're not going back to sleep.
Nope.
They're inauguration. I got to tell you, I was there. I landed in Washington on the 19th at about 8:30 p.m. and it was akin to like Kabul or Baghdad. It looked like a war zone.
Yeah.
Seriously about blowing up the White House. Kathy Griffin holding up the severed head. Don't forget about that. Wishing ill on Donald Trump and hoping that he failed.
Of course.
No matter how it impacted America, I genuinely hope that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris lead this country by the grace of God. I hope that God grants them the wisdom and the strength to do the right things. Because guess what? When our leaders are successful, America is successful. And it is
posted something about this on social media yesterday. I posted a picture of me with the president and then a picture of me from 2008. I had the random consequence of meeting Joe Biden. I did lose a few followers that were very far right and said, you can't post a picture of them. But what I said was, I was at the inauguration proudly, having worked on the 16 campaign. And what I experienced was vitriol and hatred, people saying, not my president, I'm moving to Canada, I hope he fails. You know what I said yesterday is, I'm not moving to Canada. This is my president. I will not spew hatred or vitriol or say bad things because I love America. And we are all here to support America.
That's right.
And you know what? Let this be a lesson in etiquette to the Democrats because you did not act the same way in 2016, and that is a fact.
Yeah.
No, and in fact, I had John Solomon on my show last night. John Solomon, who of course has done all of the investigations of the Russia, they were already planning the demise and trying to undermine the presidency of Donald Trump. Absolutely, at this exact moment in Donald Trump's presidency.
Absolutely.
Immediately, he wants to stop construction on that. There are so many things, I think, to come from a Biden administration that are frightening. But when we're talking about we're talking about the inauguration, and we're talking about the speech that Joe Biden gave, something that was absent from that speech was the mention of China.
Yeah.
We are at. How does this play out? What do you think we're going to see happen over the next 4 years under a Joe Biden presidency?
Joe Biden and Xi Jinping are basically one and the same. There's a great book called The 100-Year Marathon by Michael Pillsbury, who worked in Washington forever, and he wrote a great book about what communist China wants to do to our country. And spoiler alert, it's destroy it. And it's not with warfare and bombs and guns. It's with trickery and deceit and manipulation and parasitic invasion.
Yeah.
And that is what's happening. And they are funneling money to the Bidens, to other people in Washington and swamp creatures who are in a pay-for-play scheme with China. When you speak to people on the left and you say, is Joe Biden controlled by China? They say no. Because they are in denial, and I am telling you, and you guys know, this is what's happening. Another book, You Will Be Assimilated, Sebastian Gorka's recent book, talks about this. And these are people that understand the complicity. My organization, USA Strong, we are here to combat the threats of China. Mm-hmm. And it's not the people we're talking about. We're talking about the Chinese Communist Party, who has Nazi-style camps for the Uyghurs.
That's right.
Because they are ethnic minorities who are Muslim. America now supports Muslims over almost any other religion on the left. Well, then they should realize what's happening to those Muslims in China, not to take it down another path. And this, I could talk about this for 10 hours, but when the Cold War was going on, every school child, every parent, every Democrat, Republican, Independent knew that the common enemy was Russia. Now, only Republicans know that the enemy is China, period.
It's really frightening. Do you know the only economy in the entire world to grow in 2020 was that of China? Million illegal immigrants, permanent U.S. residency, and most importantly in this bill is to change the name from illegal alien to non-citizen. So we're talking about allowing people who are illegally in our country permanent United States citizenship. We know the implications of that.
Go ahead.
11,000 energy sector jobs were lost in one day
instantly.
yesterday with a stroke of his feeble pen.
And what did we say? Feeble pen. What did we say would happen to the energy industry, to energy jobs, if Joe Biden became president of the United States? And on day one, 11,000 were lost. You talked about, Gina, whenever you were saying some of the great accomplishments of this president, one of those is that for the first time ever, America is an energy exporter. We're not just to think this is immediately what has happened. These are the consequences of day one.
Well, he's just trying to redo and undo the president's legacy. And we know that Joe Biden wants a $15 an hour minimum wage, which will kill 1.3 million more jobs. You can call President Joe Biden the job killer. But yes, we were energy independent, and now we're going to be relying on the Middle East and Russia, which is ironic because didn't the Democrats have all these problems with Russia 3 seconds ago?
Oh, where's the
problem about
Russia?
that now?
Suddenly, poof,
Lost.
it's all gone.
Russia.
Yep.
It's amazing how that works.
Caravans, right?
You've seen the caravans.
The
What about COVID?
super spreaders. They said that people in those caravans have COVID.
But what about, and I used to live on the border. You know, I spent much of my life living right on the border in San Diego between
What message is this sending to people in this country who have had their lives altered over the past 10 months because of COVID? They've been shut down, they've lost jobs, they haven't been able to go to work, their kids haven't been able to go to school. People are trying to return to normalcy here, and they want a leader that is focused on that, yet this is the focus. You know, the focus is stopping border wall construction. The focus is the Keystone Pipeline. What about getting us back up and running as America? What about doing something that actually helps bring us back to some sort of normalcy in America?
My mind is flooding with thoughts and ideas right now because the first thing he also did was a mask mandate, but there's federalism, which means the state's rights and the federal government's rights are completely different. And basically his federal mask mandate is smoke and mirrors because you had to wear masks in federal buildings anyway. So he's pretending to care about COVID. But I think they want to shut people down further. That's why they're pushing the narrative about the super strain even more. Because the more people are controlled and the more people are shut in their house and the more they can't make a living, they want socialism. That works. And by allowing these illegal aliens into our country, and by the way, the legal definition under the law is if you are not a permanent resident alien or a citizen of this country, you are an illegal alien. And that is the legal definition.
Yeah.
So someone saying that is not racist, they are not xenophobic, they are not uneducated. Actually, it's an erudite explanation. So anyway, having said that, if you allow people in this country illegally, you're driving down wages for minorities.
That's
So
right.
the communities, as you said, that Joe Biden is purporting to protect, he is actually putting at a massive disadvantage.
Yeah, and this is what the Democrats continue to do.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's Twitter account as sitting president of the United States shut down.
Yeah.
Facebook page shut down. And a lot of world leaders, Gina, actually came out and said this isn't right. There were a lot of folks, I think, that understood the implications of silencing the leader of the free world in this manner.
They create your own platform, and we did with Parler, and then they shut it down completely.
Yes.
Big tech is now an arm of the Democrat Party. So they are doing the dirty work that a government can't do under the Constitution.
That's right.
So constitutionally, you have, against the government, you have the right of free speech. But big tech is a private corporation, so
Right.
those constitutional protections of free speech do
don't
not
exist there.
apply. It doesn't matter. When we say free speech, it's not government censorship, so it doesn't count. But I do believe that Section 230 is legally written improperly. They distinguish between a distributor and a publisher. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google, they say we're immune under this sort of good faith, Good Samaritan law. We're just farming out information. We're just publishing what the world gives us. We all know they are censoring, they are promoting, they are demonetizing. That is not acting as a publisher. They should not be limited in their liability. They should have their feet held to the fire like everyone else when they do something wrong. Period.
They're leaving terrorist organizations up
Yeah.
on Twitter, but they took down Donald Trump's Twitter account. Are you serious? Right? Is just because Donald Trump is not in the White House, we have gone nowhere.
Right.
The movement to make America great again is not gone. It is continuing on. And I want people to know that our family did not get in this for 4 years. We got in this to see the right thing happen in
Amen.
America.
Just in spades, because people need to understand that he's gone nowhere. You all have gone nowhere, and if anything, it's provided you all to take maybe a deep breath and kind of gather it all up. And great things are going to come of this. I don't know what they are, but they're going to be great.
No.
Let's do a rally. I'm ready for
Erin
a
wants
rally.
a rally. Maybe
I want a Florida rally.
We'll have a rally. But look, I agree with you, Dr. Gina. God is in control of this.
Amen.
And Wednesday, he said, we will be back in some form. So I want to continue to encourage people out there. Please do not give up. I know that for so many people out there, this has been a really tough time. It's been a very depressing time, a time where maybe you feel like you've lost a little bit of faith. Please do not lose faith. I think one of the things, Erin, that needs to happen is we saw that under the guise of COVID, there were so many rules and laws changed in so many states in terms of their elections. And I think there needs to be a concerted effort on the part of Republicans to change those laws back and make sure that we have integrity and faith in our election systems. Republicans and Democrats alike need to know that elections are free and fair and that every person gets one vote. And I think a lot of people still will have, for the rest of their lives, a lot of questions about the 2020 election. In fact, 39% of Americans, including Democrats and independents, not just Republicans, believe that there was fraud in the 2020 election. So we need to go state by state, and we need to make sure that we go to the state legislatures, we change those laws, and then I think, look, we're going to come up to midterms in 2022, and it's a great opportunity for people to get out and make their voices heard and elect Republicans, make sure we take back the House and the Senate, and take back our country, quite frankly. What would you say to people that should they stay involved? Should they just get depressed and tune it all out?
No. Also, volunteer to watch the polls on Election Day.
Yeah.
Sign up to be a volunteer. Anybody can do it. I think it's just a little bit of training, and you might even get paid.
Oh.
Also, I would say don't leave the moment. We're all frustrated. I understand that. But stay involved. Don't turn off the television. Don't stop listening to the radio. Stay involved. Stay politically active. Find your good information where you can. Continue to talk to the like-minded patriots like yourself that fly that American flag. Believe that we are still going to persevere.
And your Trump flag.
Yes, a
Yeah,
Trump
you
flag
can fly
too.
your Trump flag.
Still wear your
Oh my
MAGA
God.
hats. Wear all of it because we need to keep our momentum going. What they're trying to do now is stop the momentum. And you know what? As you all know, with the history of our country, you can't stop progress.
Yeah.
You can never stop progress. Maybe for a little bit here and there and bit and chip away at it. But this is a movement that has been started. Nothing in the history of our world and in our nation has ever been stopped progressively, right? People try to stop Airbnb. Donald Trump was the Airbnb and the Uber. He was that disruptor. He was that breath of fresh air in a broken system. You can't stop progress.
Great point.
He is the disruptor, and I mean that in the most positive possible way. So don't stop yourselves, because we are still here, we are still together, and we are stronger together. We are a fist.
And courage is contagious. And I think that's really important. So, be that leader among your group of patriots.
Is going nowhere.
Yeah.
He will be back. He will be very active. He will be a thorn in the side to all of those people who wished him ill, and yet he's still triumphed. I think it is still incredible to think about the success that we saw under President Donald Trump, despite it was like an uphill climb in a wind tunnel with flamethrowers on him, and
his popularity is the same as it was. It's still like in the 90 percentile. And so you guys, he's going nowhere. He's still the leader of the MAGA movement. He's still the leader of the Patriots. And for those of you who are angry about various factions of the party or whatever, Donald Trump is still the absolute leader. He's going nowhere, just like you said.
Good.
And that's because he's gained
great success, because he talks directly to the American people.
Because he has nothing to hide.
And that's why
Nothing
they
to
hate
hide.
him so much.
And that's why they hate him
He's
so
the
much.
first person to run for president that didn't need this.
That's right.
It's not like all
He
these
didn't
people
need
that
the
got
job.
into Washington, whether it's Pelosi or Schumer or Dianne Feinstein or the rest of them, made money and got rich off of being politicians.
That's right.
Donald Trump has more money than he knows what to do with. He did this because he loves America. It's almost mind-blowing. He loves America and the American people. That's why he is here.
Yep. He got paid $1 a year to be president of the United States. He donated his salary every quarter, as we all know. And look, like I said, he's going to be back. This is not over. They love to hate him, and they're going to have to do it for a long time to come, because
Amen.
this is far, far from over.